The allegedly sexualized nature of modern media has been commonly viewed as a threat to future generations. It is widely believed that increasingly sexualized representations of children have desensitized society to acts of sexual violence and depravity, and caused a wide range of social problems. However, such claims are rarely supported by real evidence, and appear to represent a moral panic. Good and Ben Yehuda name 5 elements crucial to a moral panic, the first of which is fear. This is a broad and vague fear. Alan McKee states that the media's portrayal of child sexualization encompasses a range of distinctly different subjects. These include children being targeted as a market by consumer capitalism, children becoming sexually active at an earlier age than previous generations, increasing levels of sexual abuse of children, and body image disorders. The second element of a moral panic is hostility, and there's no shortage of antagonism by conservative activists and second-wave feminists toward media outlets that purportedly over-sexualize children. The third element is that there is a consensus of opinion. Sterling's support of this moral panic led to a 2006 Australia Institute report on the sexualization of children, entitled Corporate Pedophilia. The fourth element of moral panics is generally the least straightforward to ascertain. Is the threat disproportionate to reality? I would argue that yes, it is. There is very little real evidence that society is decaying as a result of media portrayals of sex. In reality, the large range of problems seem to be caused by the sexualization of children. Each have different and complex causes. It's unhelpful to attribute them all to representations in the media. The media has attracted criticism for exposing children to sex at a younger age, which is often believed to encourage promiscuity. However, extensive research performed by Buckingham and Bragg on 800 9 to 17-year-olds show this fear is not entirely founded in reality. The study found that there were rarely explicit sexual references in the media. As a result, when prepubescent children were exposed to sexual content, they were unable to understand references and innuendo. Furthermore, they found that when the children did register sexual content, they did not interpret the media to be encouraging their sexuality, rather they perceived a tone of moral warning. The sexualization of teenagers is another matter. The World Health Organization has stated that the right to sexual information and the right to pleasure are fundamental to healthy sexuality. While the objectification of women is not helpful to the cause of healthy sexuality, on the other end of the spectrum, as Lumby and Albury stated, a negative or stigmatizing attitude towards girls' or young people's sexual development causes harm. Media that provides a healthy approach to sexuality should not be dismissed on the basis that it sexualizes teenagers. As Judith Levine noted, in the 1950s, plenty of teens had sex, but it wasn't considered troublesome because it wasn't premarital. An abstinence-only approach has proved to be far more harmful to teenagers in terms of sexual health and unwanted pregnancy. The commonly held belief that sex and violence in the media have contributed to increases in sexual violence also doesn't stand up to scrutiny. A study by Steven Pinker showed a dramatic decline in violence over the past century, including violent rape, sexual assault, and child sex abuse. Brian McNair believes there is no evidence to support the assertion that cultural trends alleged to be negative have harmed women, children, or any other group of victims. Furthermore, research by Ferguson and Harley found no causal relationship between pornography consumption and rape rates. In fact, if anything, the increasing availability of porn appeared to be associated to a decline in rape. This is not to argue that the porn industry is unproblematic, rather that common perceptions about porn users are not supported by academic research. The argument that the sexualization of children is damaging to society is incoherent, as it unscientifically links separate topics such as fashion to child pornography and sexual references in the media to date rape. It also assumes that the sexual repression of youths is helpful to their development. Obviously, there are problems with the current model with regard to objectifying women, but there are also many misconceptions about the sexualization of children media debate that must be reassessed by the public for meaningful progress to be made. As Lumby and Fine stated, the root of social ills are complex. They don't fit neatly into a headline or a 15-second news grab, and they certainly won't be solved by simplistic blame shifting.